Good afternoon, everyone. Now, let me introduce other guests. One is Tan He, Australia leader of NEM. Just give the speech. And Laurie Liu, founder of Genaro Network. And third is Yao Qijia, co-founder and head of Zilliqa. And also William Zhang, chief marketing officer and co-founder of Achain. Okay, everyone, a microphone. Maybe one can't have. Only 3, 4 people. Okay, now let's start. The first question is, nowadays many people talk about the blockchain stage 3. That means stage 1 is for Bitcoin and stage 2 is for Ethereum. And now comes stage 3. And many people talks about stage 3 and maybe US or maybe other concepts. What is your definition for stage 3? Okay, William Zhang first.
Sorry. To me, I think for the stage 3, it's not only about the blockchain technology. It will include all the aspects, like the technology that what the US is doing now, and also including the DApps, different DApps is come to the blockchain, and also the many other industries that come to the blockchain. So it's it will become various industries. That is my definition for the stage 3 for blockchain. Yeah.
Okay. Yao Qijia.
Oh yeah. So in my opinion, so blockchain 1.0 is mostly like this Bitcoin and the cash money role. Basically, they just provide this distributed ledger functionality. For blockchain 2.0, it's like Ethereum and the other blockchains, which they can provide these programming functionalities like the smart contract and solidity. For blockchain 3.0, in my opinion, like it's not about like there are a lot of drawback of blockchain 2.0. It's about like blockchain 2.0, like Ethereum blockchain. They cannot provide a lot of useful APIs, and they also have some bottleneck like the scalability I just mentioned. So for blockchain 3.0, we should address these issues. Like we can provide high throughput with this better decentralization. At the same time, we can also provide this privacy-preserving smart contract and also this privacy-enabled storage. So with all these good features, so we can provide a better platform for the DApp developers to use their imagination to create some amazing applications like the Facebook or Twitter like DApps on top of blockchain. Yeah.
Okay, so good applications can run on Bitcoin, on a blockchain. Means 3.0.
Yeah, with more functionalities of the blockchain and then more features and APIs for developers to develop apps.
Okay, Laurie Liu.
Thanks for this question. So in fact, we have proposed the blockchain 3.0 last year, and our slogan was to move the applications from internet to blockchain. So in my opinion, blockchain 3.0 is more like a whole backend for the applications. So in blockchain 1.0 and 2.0, so we are using blockchain as a distributed ledger. So in blockchain 3.0, we want to use blockchain like a worldwide computer that the applications, both the developers and the users of the applications only need to deal with the front end, where all the things can be handled by blockchain. So in order to achieve that, I think there's something lagging. The most important is the storage between the blockchain and the storage. We want to make up the bridge so that the data could be stored securely on a layer of another blockchain. You can think this way to make the DApps as useful as app in internet. So that's basically my opinion. Thanks.
So storage is most important.
Yes, I think.
Okay, thank you. Storage. Now, Ten He.
I'm just going to go short and
Ten
simple.
Le.
Yeah, sorry. All good. So I'll just go short and simple. Make it open source and make it so that it is adopted and make it that it is pretty much available and ready for improvements. So, and also cutting large computational power with blockchain 3.0.
Okay, great. Okay, now let's move on to next question. Nowadays, there are more than 1,600 crypto assets, and many of them solve the same problem. So maybe many of them have not much value. And what's your criteria to judge a token or a crypto? What will you think will be a good crypto? Now let's turn around from Tan Le.
So I think it should be user-friendly. That's one, and make it flexible for developers to use. I'm not shilling NEM or anything, or I think it should be API-driven, where it's flexible, where it's easy, and it gives a gateway for people to start implementing blockchain technology, and without the worry and the challenges of learning new code. Also providing flexibility, not just with transactions, but pretty much expensive use cases like crowdfunding, land registries, or anything to do with record keeping.
Okay.
So I think there are basically two different categories, and one is decentralized application, and we call DApp. So for DApp, the most important thing to stand out is not really the technology behind it, and also say the technology is more or less the same. It's more important for the designing, the product design, and we have to design the product in a way that the user is very easy to get used to. Especially without knowing the blockchain concept or technology that the user had better know to manage private keys themselves. And this is hard because blockchain works in this way. So we need to figure a way to make it as easy as use as an internet application. So another category is the public chains or the permission chain, and we just call it the chains. And I think for chains there are two levels. And the first level is a technology level. So we need to try to make the chain fast and secure and decentralized to some extent. And I think the deeper level is the governance level, because it's like a company without any leader or specific leader maybe have, but the community needs to run in a decentralized way, and the different type of community members also need to be incentivized in different ways, such to boost the network. Thanks.
Okay. Now, Yao Qijia.
Yeah. So in my opinion, there are also two categories. For the first category, we should basically emphasize on the technology, because right now I still think for blockchain technology it's still in the early stage, and we still haven't resolved a lot of issues like the scalability and the privacy of this public data on blockchain. So when we evaluate one project, we should first consider about the technology, whether this team have this new and robust system to support their ideas, for example, to propose a new public blockchain to solve these scalability issues. At the same time, I think for the second category is more on the innovation. So with the new blockchains, especially the public blockchains with scalability, and then for the developers, actually they can try their best to build some amazing DApps. For example, I just mentioned this Twitter-like or Facebook-like DApps. For these applications, basically, we cannot directly value their technology. Mostly it's about their ideas and innovation. Also about their business model. Right now, we can see there are only few interesting apps on top of Ethereum or the other blockchains. And in my opinion, in the future, we will have some brand new apps, not in this traditional industry, but just in this blockchain industry. It's unique. And it's just like these Facebook or Twitter-like applications for blockchain space.
Okay, William.
There are three aspects I want to share with you. The first one, I think blockchain technology at this moment is in a very early stage, but in the very soon, the technology will not be the problem for everyone, for every public blockchain or for every DApps. So I think at that moment, the second one will be the most important one. The second one is about the user-friendly system. So the DApp or the project who has the better user interface, better user-friendly system, that will be a successful project. For the third one, I do think the most important one is about the community. So who project has the more community members, the project will be the most successful project. Yeah.
Okay, now everyone have talked about the criteria and many of them are similar. And now let's talk about a very interesting question. All of you have your own projects, but beyond your project, what's your favorite crypto? Just one. And have you have a lot of position for them, for it? Who first? Okay. William first.
Okay. So besides my own project,
Yeah.
I do think HT.
HT.
HT Hobby. HT is my most favorite token. Yeah.
We should. I believe all of you will love HT, but we should say besides HT, what's your favorite?
Yeah, to me, beside ACT and HT, I think AOA is my favorite token. Yeah,
AOA.
Yeah, because AOA is a new project, but it's with a very good team and very good technology, and also a very good community building. So this is my
Okay,
opinion.
AOA. Okay, Yao Qi. I don't know you love HT, and other than HT,
For me, I think ETH, Ethereum.
ETH.
Yes. So ETH give me the impression that so basically we can really code these decentralized applications on top of some systems. Because during my PhD, I was studying this peer-to-peer web overlay, and I'm trying to build these privacy-preserving and robust web overlays. At that time, we don't really have a lot of good decentralized protocols or systems for developers to build decentralized applications. But when I saw Ethereum, I think it's sort of the dream came true. And we really have some platform to deploy this decentralized application. Yeah.
Okay, ETH. Now Larry.
So for me, other than GNX and HT, so I only have Bitcoin and Ethereum because of the historical reason. Because I came to the industry in 2015 and Ethereum has not done the ICO, so I have made an application based on Bitcoin, so I purchased some Bitcoin and I purchased Ethereum's ICO, so I get some Ethereum. So and currently I have, so before founding Genaro, I participated in some other kinds of ICO and have different kinds of coins. But maybe because I am an engineer, so I'm not good at managing these financing, so I just sold out the tokens, only keep the Bitcoin HT, ETH for Steampool. So, and I do have some favorite projects, but from the technological perspective rather than the financial perspective, like BAT. I like that team because I have designed exactly the same application in 2016. I think return the data to the customer is a very good idea. And also Zilliqa, because we cooperate with Zilliqa. So I think I did have some research of different sharding techniques. I think this makes the most sense to me. So basically, I have the favorite projects more from the technological perspective.
Okay, 10.
Okay, first and foremost, ZEMS, which is NEM. Secondly is Ethereum. Like you mentioned before.
First is what?
Second is Ethereum. Yep.
Okay.
As you mentioned, Ethereum is pretty much the birth and the start of blockchain 2.0, and they are the pioneer of decentralization. So without Ethereum, half or if not all of ERC20 tokens wouldn't exist without Ethereum. So I think Ethereum leads the way. They also have a bright future, and how could I not forget HD?
Okay, so two of you choose ETH. Yep. Okay, ETH is very popular in our panel. And next we talk about technical question. Nowadays there are many projects, some projects about the middle layer, maybe about the storage, maybe about the scalability or other function. And some main chain will also do such functions. Do you think who will win finally, the middle layer projects or the platform projects? From 10?
So I think this is where it gets interesting. I think we are starting to see more and more adoption, and this is where eventually we will hopefully see blockchain become more mainstream.
So I think the answer is not about who's going to win, because both of them are very useful. Because the blockchain is like an internet. It's not a single thing. So we need the public chains, we need smart contracts, we need a virtual machine, and we also need the decentralized storage network, and we also need a way to transfer the encrypted data. So basically all the middle layers you mentioned, I think, are pretty useful. And I think to make the system work, and we actually need to have all the features more or less, as I have shared in my keynote speech. There are 7 major challenges around the public chain. And some problems are extremely difficult that I think no single project can solve by themselves. So, and for Genaro, we also cooperate with other teams, such as Zilliqa and other universities, to add different parts of the platform to make the system work.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with Larry. So I think blockchain space is an ecosystem, and all different approaches and projects, they should collaborate with each other. For example, we may have different public blockchain like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Zilliqa and Genaro. At the same time, we also need these cross-chain solutions like Polkadot and Cosmos. And at the same time, we also need these privacy-preserving transactions and smart contract provided by Zcash and Enigma. And there's a bunch of ideas in this space, and most of them, they are not direct competitors. And I don't think right now we have a lot of the direct competitors. It's more like an ecosystem, an internet. So we can collaborate, and the projects can complement to the other projects. So in the future, I still think we can build different parts of the ecosystem, and as you can see for the big picture, it's an ecosystem for blockchain space.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to come to the conclusion now. But I have an example for you. Like the DSM and the CDMA. Even the CDMA, it had better technology, but finally DSM win. So I think the most important is come to the consensus community. Who won this? Who will be the final winner?
Yeah, but GSM wins the second, wins the age second, but lose in the age 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is a technical age, technical perspective. Now talk about application perspective. Many projects maybe will concentrate on some special area like IoT or game or social network and so on. And these are vertical industry program, and others are general projects. where do you think, who do you think will survive, general or vertical? From William.
I'm not quite familiar with this, but I do think the general will be, yeah.
All of you are from general, not vertical. Okay. So you believe general will win?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Yao Qi.
So I think all different teams are trying out different approaches to apply these blockchains for traditional industries like this IoT, even advertising. And right now, since it's in the early stage, we don't know what will happen next month or even next year. I still think we have a lot of time, and once the scalable blockchains are ready and we can have this better development platform, then at that time I think we can really think about which approach or which direction is a better one.
Okay.
I agree with Yochi's opinion. So I think at the last, of course, we need both. And because in some industries, let's say in game industry, it needs like faster response time and it has to be designed in some ways. And in some other industries, maybe security or decentralization is more important. So that the basic platform can meet the market needs depends on completed on the market. However, today we are at a very early stage, so it's too early to get very deep into the vertical industries. So I think first we need to make the general or the universal publishing to work.
Okay. Tan.
I think at this stage right now, universal is very difficult to achieve just because it's the nature of every business. Every business has its own needs, has its own way, and has its own implementation. So to get a universal blockchain, I think we're still very early for that. But definitely foreseeing the future, I do see other chains keep communicating with each other and to make things work. So, thank you.
Okay. As we know, blockchain world has the trilemma between scalability and the decentralization and also the security. You can't get the three of them, so we need to trade off. But nowadays, we still haven't the perfect solution for the trilemma. And how do you think to solve this problem? And how should we do the trade-off?
I think it all comes down to adoption. That's simply it. So the more we adopt, the more it can evolve. So I couldn't dive too much into that anymore.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good question. So first, on theory, so there's no way to break through the trilemma, and it all depends on how the publishing is designed to meet your customers' needs. For example, in Genaro Network, you can see that we sacrifice decentralization by increasing the security and the efficiency. So it depends on what features the market needs more, and you can increase that more. But I think in the future, after maybe years of the technology development, that all these threes can increase to another level. It's just like the security and efficiency can achieve in the internet, but today's internet, we have more security and efficient ways than the internet 10 years ago. So it also depends on the technology development.
Yeah, of course, in theory, you cannot break this trilemma. But in my opinion, I think right now, we still have a lot of room to improve the scalability. At the same time, we have decentralization and security. Because as you can see, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they can only process less than 20 transactions per second. But if you further improve this TPS with some new technology, for example, the sharding, but actually you don't have a lot of trade-off of this decentralization and the security. For me, of course, the trilemma is valid, but we still have the room to improve the throughput within this space. At the same time, if we want to have some breakthrough, I really think we need some quantum computers. With this brand new technology, I think we can hold and break this trilemma maybe in the next 20 years.
Okay, William.
I think trilemma is not from now. It's came from the beginning of the human being. So yeah. So I think we need to make a perfect balancing. So who can make it balanced? Who will be the winner?
Yeah. Okay. Now the last question. Now we notice there are some other distributed ledger technology other than blockchain, like DAG or hash graph. And what do you think about these technologies? Do they have a bright future? William.
I think different technology or all the people who involved have the chance, have the opportunity to get back to the end. Who can be the winner? But you know, blockchain like you know, many people, every people, or all the projects, all the people can join in and can be the winner. But you know, it depends on who can hold the more people. So come back is the community. So who win this? I think who will be the final winner. Yeah.
Community is important.
Community is the most important.
Most
one,
important.
I think.
I see. Okay. Yao Qi.
So from the technical perspective, actually I think I was one of the earliest writers, wrote something about hash graph. So basically, if you search in Google, you can find one article from me. So I basically have some technical analysis of the protocol. And for me, since I did my PhD thesis on this P2P network and also some consensus protocol, for me, I think a hash graph is more like a consensus protocol or Byzantine agreement protocol. And they reuse some existing technologies. For example, it's a variant of the existing Byzantine agreement protocol using this common coin. At the same time, they also apply this gossip to improve and reduce this communication overhead. And previously, I read their white paper, and for me, it's more like a consensus protocol. And at that time, their scenario is for permission blockchain. So I'm not sure how about now. So if from the white paper, I think they still need to apply some proof of work or this proof of stake to establish identities, and then they can run their hash graph protocol within this group of nodes to generate the blocks. And for DAG, DAG is quite interesting. So basically, it's a graph data structure, and in the ideal case, it can increase this block size, can increase the throughput a lot. However, as I can see, there are no existing research papers talking about how to implement a smart contract for DAG. The root cause is that basically it's very difficult to ensure this data consistency for the DAG protocol, and that is the drawback of the protocol and the system. So there is a hurdle for them to implement the smart contract. Actually, I'm carefully monitoring the blockchain technology in industry and also in academia, and I'm always willing to see and collaborate and even implement this system using the state-of-the-art theory by ourselves. So I think right now it's in the early stage. All the teams can collaborate together and to figure out a better way to implement the platform. And in the future, we can together build this blockchain industry instead of we compete with each other and ruin this industry. Yeah.
Okay, so you have learned much other than sharding.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Larry.
So thanks for the question. Because I was a programmer before founding Genaro Network. So for me, the question is more like which data structure you think is better. Because in my opinion, they all data structure. Like, for example, the blockchain is a link and each node is a Merkle tree, so it's a link. So the DAG essentially is a graph, and it can reduce the transaction fees for a single node to verify the previous transactions. So, and the question is more like which data structure works better. So it all depends on what operations you want to use this data structure. So for example, currently the most common used operations are search and adding. So in this data structure that the link takes, the time complexity is big O(n). And if you operate the same the operations on the graph, it's big O(n) square, so it's slower. But in the future, maybe we want a scenario to let the data structure to indicate more relationships between each nodes. Then the graph is more powerful. So maybe DAG, if you add more features on DAG, that's maybe a better choice. So for us, we embrace most of the technology innovations that depends on the stage and the market needs.
Okay, so it depends.
Yes.
Okay, Tan.
Just to agree with you here, sorry, your name. I think we are so early at a stage leading to the evolution of the technology. So whether you use DAG, Hashgraph, or whoever the winner is, it doesn't matter. Driving adoption is the key to success, plain and simple.
Okay, okay. Now so much for our panel, and thank you very much for all the 4 speakers, your smart and frank opinion and insights. Let's remember their words and their recommendation about HT. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.